Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Faith, Family, and Football podcast. I am Elijah. I am your only host here for this wonderful evening. And just wanted to start off with a prayer before we get started. Dear Lord, please just bless the people that are across the camera from me here. Bless myself also and my family, Lord, and please help us to learn and to grow as Christians and as believers in you and as faithful people for you, Lord. And please help us all to learn from one another and to be blessed by your holy name, Jesus. Amen. So let's get started here with the daily Bible verse. It comes from Isaiah chapter 25, verse 1. O Jehovah, thou art my God. I will exalt thee. I will praise thy name, for thou hast done wonderful things, even counsels of old, in faithfulness and truth. Awesome, awesome, awesome. And then we will go ahead and read Matthew chapter 17. Sorry for blinding everybody. And as we went through yesterday, we're going to start off with the Transfiguration. And Matthew chapter 17, verse 1 goes, And after 6 days, Jesus took with him Peter and James and John his brother, and led them up a high mountain by themselves. And he was transfigured before them, and his face shone like the sun, and his clothes became white as light. And behold, there appeared to them Moses and Elijah talking with him. And Peter said to Jesus, Lord, it is good that we are here. If you wish, I will make 3 tents here, one for you, and one for Moses, and one for Elijah. He was still speaking when, behold, a bright cloud overshadowed them, and a voice from the cloud said, This is my beloved Son, with whom I am well pleased. Listen to him. When the disciples heard this, they fell on their faces and were terrified. But Jesus came and touched them, saying, Rise and have no fear. And when they lifted up their eyes, they saw no one but Jesus only. And as they were coming down the mountain, Jesus commanded them, Tell no one the vision until the Son of Man is raised from the dead. And the disciples asked him, Then why do the scribes say that first Elijah must come? He answered, Elijah does come, and he will restore all things. But I tell you that Elijah has already come, and they did not recognize him, but did to him whatever they pleased. So also the Son of Man will certainly suffer at their hands. Then the disciples understood that he was speaking to them of John the Baptist. Jesus heals a boy with a demon. Tell me, Mary, I'm guessing you'll probably be watching this here. So tell me this. He says Elijah has come already. Are they saying that Elijah was John the Baptist? Go ahead and, if you could, just answer that in the comment section below. Jesus heals a boy with a demon. And when they came to the crowd, a man came up to him and, kneeling before him, said, Lord, have mercy on my son, for he is an epileptic, and he suffers terribly. For often he falls into the fire and often into the water. And I brought him to your disciples, and they could not heal him. And Jesus answered, O faithfulness and twisted generation, how long am I to be with you? How long am I to bear with you? Bring him up here to me. And Jesus rebuked the demon, and it came out of him, and the boy was healed instantly. Then the disciples came to Jesus privately and said, Why could we not cast it out? He said to them, Because of your little faith. For truly I say to you, if you have faith like a grain of mustard seed, you will say to this mountain, move from here to there, and it will move, and nothing will be impossible for you. Always remember to have faith, guys. Jesus again foretells death, resurrection. As they were gathering in Galilee, Jesus said to them, the Son of Man is about to be delivered into the hands of men, and they will kill him, and he will be raised on the third day. And they were greatly distressed. The temple tax. When they came to Capernaum, the collectors of the 2 drachma tax went up to Peter and said, does your teacher not pay the tax? He said, yes. And when he came into the house, Jesus spoke to him first, saying, what do you think, Simon? From who do kings of the earth take toll or tax? From their sons or from others? And when he said, from others, Jesus said to him, then the sons are free. However, not to give offense to them, go to the sea and cast a hook and take the first fish that comes up. And when you open its mouth, you will find a shekel. Take that and give it to them for me and for yourself. And tomorrow, I'll probably be doing Scripture Saturday as long as I'm not out too late for any reason. Matthew chapter 18, I will start off with that. And who is the greatest? Of course, Jesus is the greatest. I mean, we all should know that. Jesus and God are the greatest. We all know that. So, I had a situation today at work where I was not a perfect Christian, once again, like always, and I was not a perfect leader. But I quickly tried to correct myself from what I had said, and it wasn't anything too terrible, but it was something that I instantly realized that I probably should not have said. No cuss words, nothing like that, just something that I sort of felt dread of saying as I was saying it and did not feel good with saying it. Instantly, I was talking to this gentleman and was talking to him about, not letting his actions be shown to everyone because he's one of the, I should say, elders, but I don't want to make him sound like he's old, but he's older. He's one of the guys that have been there at work for quite a while. And I just wanted to let him know that, hey, just know that, the way that you've acted today, it's a poor reflection on, what you should be as a leader. A leader should, lead by example, should be working by example, and act by example too. Act as in, not be overreactive to situations and not take situations out of hand. And just remember that younger guys are watching you, that they will feed off of that energy and they will really potentially, if you get away with what you're doing, they will follow suit and they will eventually be doing the same exact thing. So I sort of just reminded him, after me saying what I said and realizing that what I said was wrong, I also needed to follow my own advice and try to not, enhance what I'm trying to preach to this, this guy. And it kind of just sort of got me on the subject of, being a leader. Being a leader isn't hard, um, but at the same time, it's tolling. But at the same time, you really just have to practice to become a leader. Lead by example. And there's a plethora of different things that actually means or the ways you can take it. Um, but if you're at a job, work by example, and that means do the best that you absolutely can, and others will eventually follow suit, especially if you are one of the people that know what they're doing or one of the people that have been there the longest. Work by example, show them how to do it or how to work, and people will eventually follow suit as long as you are the example and you want to be the example. That is important also. Wanting to do it, wanting to lead by example. Uh, just be a leader in general. I've always had the mentality of I will work harder than anybody in the room or, in the area. Whether that has come from sports, whether that has come from in the classroom, whether that has come from jobs. I will work harder than any single person in that area at that given time because I just have that competitive type of mentality. But always to make sure that I'm not trying to say what I'm, trying to do or tell people what to do. I'm more of a leader type of I'm going to show you how I do it and I'm going to show you how I work. I will outwork anybody as long as I have the right set of skills or the right training for it. I will outwork anybody in the room. And that's just the way that my mind works. And it's always worked. And when I get competitive, I sort of get into this gray area in my mind where, you know, my body takes over and then just starts working. So there's many different ways of being a leader. Now there could be ways of you teaching people, talking, being a leader that way. That is 100% fine. Just remember that people are watching. So have to make sure that you are not using your voice in other situations in a disdained way. Where if you are leading by example by teaching somebody a certain thing and they trust your voice, now if you go and do something heinous or disdainful, I think that's a word, um, they might also want to follow suit with that because they're like, okay, I trust his voice, but also that's the way that he's acting, so it should be the way that I could act too. And things could get out of hand very, very quick. But always remember, people are looking, people are watching. Lead by example, always. And be the leader in the room. Become the leader in the room. People will respect you a lot more if you end up being the leader just by working and working at it. So that's really what I learned today was I need to make sure that I've got my head on straight. That way, if I'm, preaching to others to be a leader also, then they're not just sitting there and saying, "Oh, well, he's just being a hypocrite." The last thing I want to do is be a hypocrite, and I realized that today I was a bit of a hypocrite whenever I was saying these things, and it really put a bad taste in my mouth afterwards. So, first off, if you're watching this, I wanted to say sorry that I said what I said, and I hope you forgive me, but I want everybody to know that by doing this, I do want to be a leader in this. I do want to work, harder than anybody else and post these things almost every day. and being able to talk about Jesus and talk about the gospel. I want to lead in that way because I want other people to also do it. And I want society to change that way too, because if we get more people talking about God, Jesus, the gospel, the Bible, then you will see a shift and change in everything. There will be an absolute Jesus movement, absolute God movement, absolute gospel movement within the world. And that's the main thing that I want. I want everybody to get to heaven because I love every single one of you. And we are taught to love thy neighbor, um, no matter what. We're taught to, oh, what's the word for it? Forgive. We're taught to forgive also. But just letting you know, I want to be a leader in this, and I want others to do this also because I feel like that is my calling, is to help others towards Jesus. All right, now we're going to go over the viewer comments for yesterday's video, and I'm pretty sure there's only one. Oh, yes, Edie did comment. Okay, cool. So I got 2 comments. I have 2 comments from the last video. Mary Furby. No matter what sign or miracle Jesus showed the Pharisees and Sadducees, it would have not been enough. Nothing he would do would be enough for them. Thank you for turning up the volume, and much, much better. Good. God bless you, Elijah, and God bless you, Mary. Thank you for commenting on every single video that I post. I very much do appreciate it, and I love reading these viewer comments and getting these out there because some people might also be listening to me and then listen to a viewer comment and they're like, oh, okay, that's what that means. Got it. Edie, I loved your prayer at the beginning. I thank the Lord almost daily for allowing me to be a grandma to 4 wonderful boys. Thank you very much, Mom. I ask him to help me to teach them about Jesus. That is a wonderful thing. For those that don't know, Edie is my stepmom, and she is talking about my nephews and my 2 little boys that I have. And thank you very much, Edie, for your kind words. I love you very much. Okay, now, oh, if you have made it this far in the episode, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Subscribing is free, and unsubscribing is also free. You can do that at any time. I am on the road to 50 followers, or subscribers. So, if you could hit the subscribe button right now. Do it right now. Because thank you at that. I would appreciate that. So, let's switch over to football. And there's not a whole lot that I want to talk about. But I want to talk about taking my family to a football game. And also my bold takes for Sunday's game against the Ravens. Taking my family to a football game. So the only person in my family that I have taken to a football game is my dad. I bought the tickets for Father's Day, and that was last year. We went to the Steelers and Browns Snow Globe game, which was amazing, and that was the only game in the second half of the season that we won, which was amazing to be at. But I will be taking my dad to another football game this season against the Titans. I think I've already said this in a previous episode. So, whenever I want to take the boys to a football game. So, if Browns fans weren't so rowdy, it would be a lot easier to go take them to a game. Now, preseason games, a lot better. My one boy is only 1 year old, so Take that into consideration. It will be a while before he gets taken to any big time sporting event like a Browns game because that is a lot for a baby. Now, the almost 4 year old, I'm thinking potentially taking them to a preseason game, maybe like next year. I would love to. Maybe when he's 5, depending. I went to my first ever sporting event whenever I was, what, 3? And it was to the Cleveland Indians. When was that? It was Cleveland Indians versus the St. Louis Cardinals, June 24th, 1998, and it was a night game. And that game, Manny Ramirez hit a grand slam in the first inning, and Mark McGwire hit a home run. Mark McGwire in practice hit one off the scoreboard, I think. I watched the highlights of that game. Absolutely amazing. I think we won like 14-2. But it's one of them things I want to make it special for the boys, especially if they want to go. I don't want to force them to go if they don't want to. And a preseason game will definitely be the clear sign of, if you want to go with me, we can go. It's going to be loud, it's going to be rowdy. But I don't want to throw them into a hostile environment. Even being at a home game, it tends to be a hostile environment. I don't want them to hear and see people acting like absolute buffoons. So a regular season game probably won't happen for a while, just because I know Browns fans really get, and I don't want that to happen and to be exposed to my young ones. Um, but I digress. So the first one will be a preseason game in a couple years from the oldest boy, and then I'd say probably another like 4 or 5 years down the line, potentially for a regular season game, but we will see once we get closer to that time frame. All right, let's go over bold takes on Sunday. I'm going to pull up the notepad again. That way I can kind of keep track of everything that I have a bold take about. Now, who would win? So this one, I got the Patriots to win right. Okay, so I need to bold takes. Let's go with bold takes. So this will be like the Browns prediction that's right up above my week 11 predictions here. So I predict that we will lose. I predict that Gabriel will not finish the game. I predict that Gabriel once again will throw under 175 yards. I predict that Gabriel will throw 3 interceptions. Predict that Lamar Jackson will have 2 passing TDs. Predict that Miles Garrett will have 2 sacks. How many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We need 4 more. I predict that Carson Schwessinger will have 1 interception. I predict that Harold Fannin will have over 60 yards receiving. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2 more. I predict that Andre Smith, I think that's what his name is, will have a field goal over 62 yards. Don't know why. I have no idea why. It just popped in my head. And I also predict Sanders will have over 150 passing yards. I think that's pretty decent takes right there. So let's watch the game on Sunday then, and we will get back to that. But thank you, everybody, for coming and joining and watching this episode here. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you, Edie, and thank you, Mary, for watching these and commenting and just being wonderful, amazing human beings and parts of the family. And I very much appreciate it. And that's the family part of, faith, family, and football. And it's a blessing to have the family that I do and the family around me, because I would not know where I would be at without, first off, my wife, my kids, and then my family on my dad's side. You all are amazing, and I appreciate you so much. But I digress. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure, once again, you like, comment, and subscribe if you are new, on the road to 50 subscribers. And hopefully one day on the road to 100. So thank you very much. If you've made it this far, go ahead and comment. What is comment? Comment, Lord is the greatest. And that's all I got for y'all. I love you. Well, actually, that's right. We're ending off with the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen. I love you all, and I am definitely praying for you all. Rock on, rock out. Peace.